Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Boss Rush Gamecast, a podcast where we talk about what is the best M&M flavor.
Green.
Guys,
Peanut butter.
green. Peanut butter? Stoy likes peanut butter?
Are they different flavors? I didn't realize.
Well, there's so many. I mean, you got your standard plain M&Ms. You also have, like, your peanut, but then they came out with peanut butter, and there's crunchy and brownie, and, you know, there's all sorts of flavors out there.
I was thinking that the argument was the candy coating on the outside is different via
I mean,
color.
Well,
My
that's
brain-
why I was
I
being
mean,
a
we
wise
argued
guy
that.
and said green.
Yeah.
So
I just felt the Mandela effect creeping up on me. I was like, oh man, here we go.
Yeah.
I had no clue all this time.
I personally think all the Skittles taste the same. I've heard they
That
don't,
is true.
but
That's fair.
yeah.
Mhm.
I will say this: I initially was not a fan of the idea, and I don't eat it often. But you know, the one with the pretzels on the inside actually ain't that bad.
Mhm.
Oh,
The sweet and salty
Oh.
is a dynamic duo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
there
For
was
me,
a time
they-
when Pat and I were running a podcast. I remember that we would be. Who was it? You or Dan would always bring in weird Oreo.
it was
flavors.
me who would always bring in
It was you.
Oreos.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
And I still tend to do that. I find different flavored Oreos and I bring them, well, not to the podcast, but it's like if I go out to an event or something, I'm like, hey, check it out. I got these Oreos, or bring them to work so that I don't end up eating the whole package.
Yeah. I just recently tried the Stranger Things Oreo.
Isn't
I
that
don't
just
recommend
red?
it.
Well, they
Yeah.
don't
Well,
put
it's
that
like
on
cherry.
anything nowadays.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like cherry filling
Oh.
with like dark chocolate. It's awful.
Mm.
Recently I saw in the store cookie dough Oreo. It's a chocolate chip cookie, but then it's got like a cookie dough cream filling.
Hmm.
And
be-
that one was actually dangerous because that was good.
This might be a bit strange, but they make a like a very thin Oreo where they put like half the amount of cream in there, which you'd think, wow, why would you want like a half-ass Oreo? But somehow it's like weirdly crispier, and I kind of prefer it for whatever reason. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I don't know. That's just me.
I've seen those
30.
like Oreo thins or
Yeah.
something like that, whatever they're called.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always
don't
thought
like
they
them.
were like diet Oreos. So it's like, I don't know if I should go for this.
Right, like it is diet Oreos, but for whatever reason, it's just like they're crispier. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, but you're gonna eat double of them. Like, what is it?
That's
what does
true.
it matter?
Well, and that's exactly what it is. It's like the psychology of it is like, well, I can have more because there's less, and so it feels like you're getting, so-
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a mind trick.
Yep. Oh,
So
man.
anyway, peanut butter. I know I don't like peanut M&Ms. You can get right out of here with that. So peanut at anything, Pat knows I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Now,
More for us,
there's a-
Pat.
Yeah. I mean, I'll eat any of them. But right now, they have a peanut butter and jelly M&M, which
No.
is it's a peanut butter one
What?
with it tastes amazing, dude. Like,
okay.
How big is the M&M?
Peanut
That's a lot
butter
of
jelly
ingredients.
tastes good.
Yeah.
Peanut butter chocolate tastes good. And yet somehow like chocolate and jelly kind of it works. But it's not actually jelly. It's like strawberry flavored peanut butter.
Strawberry chemical.
Yeah.
Somewhere, Gordon Ramsay is just screaming into a pillow right now.
What
You
the bloody
fucking
hell is this?
what?
What are ya?
There, I think
You're
I dropped the first
M&M.
F-bomb of the episode. I think we're okay.
Yeah.
4
We're
minutes
almost
in.
at 4 minutes.
4 minutes in.
You know what? That's almost a record for us. So
Yeah, not bad.
well, when we're not talking about Oreos and M&Ms, we are talking about video games. Here we have the deeper conversations into the games that matter. I am one of your hosts, Patrick Klein. Taylor is not with us today because she is actually just getting back from vacation, so she unfortunately can't make it. But we do have some awesome people with us today. We have the man who is a blast from the past, if you ask me. We have Retro Stoy in the house.
How's it going?
Mhm.
I guess that's my official tagline, huh?
Yeah, blast from the past. I mean, it's better than saying my boy Stoy.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. So we're
Yeah.
not middle schoolers anymore.
Nope.
No, I'm
So,
holding true to
blast
the
from the past,
retro soy
Retro Stoy.
moniker because this month is retro month for me. So all I'm playing is retro games, 20 years or older this month.
Nice.
Nice.
I like that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Also, it's the girl that decided she wants to run across country Japan style,
All for
making her
Mario.
moniker the Mad Pharmacist herself.
Hello. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. I know I've kind of taken a big hiatus because training for a marathon sucks and I fully regret, but I'm ready. I'm about a month away, so I can't back away now. So,
I've
Nope.
never heard of anybody saying, "Man, I love training for a marathon."
yeah, but yet most people that do these marathons, I don't know why I'm using air quotes, they end up doing like 10 of them. Like once they do it, they like get
Yeah.
all weird and crazy. I don't see it. I don't see it. Like I'm sure, yes, I'll get the thrill and the rush and whatever, but I never want to do this ever again. Ever.
It's a cult.
But you know what?
Mhm.
I get to do it in Kyoto. I get to get a Nintendo bib, and this is not part of the marathon, but I get to go to the Nintendo Museum with a special Super Mario 40th anniversary. And that month it'll be the Zelda anniversary, so I'm hyped.
Ooh,
Oh, okay, all right.
that's right.
But
Mhm.
here
All
I
right,
am.
sounds like this is worth it.
Yep.
If I
And
survive.
finally, we want you to survive because we need you back. And also, PAX is the month after. So,
Mhm.
yep. And finally, we have brought in a special guest. Our topic tonight is going to be the backlog. So we brought in an expert of how to tackle the backlog. Please welcome Daryl Talks Games.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. Very glad to be here.
Yeah.
No. Thank you for coming on here, Daryl. You know, Stoy really hyped you up, and I was like, man, if he's this big of a star, how are we going to get him on the podcast? And, you know, here you go.
I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it because I was like, it'd be really cool if we got Daryl onto the show. And Pat's like, well, let me reach out to him. And then all of a sudden, a day later, he's in. I was like, nah, don't. You can't. No, I don't believe you, man.
I will admit the email was very much just like a hi, would you like to come on the show? And I was just like, for whatever reason, I just thought, yes, I'm in. I just instantly, for whatever reason, I just said no problem. But I kind of would. It's a weird 2026, not resolution because I don't really do those, but like a goal of mine to just kind of like be maybe on some more podcasts. I think it's fun to chat with folks and sort of make some connections and talk about things and hear about perspectives I don't usually hear about. And so, with that being said, here I am. Very glad to be here.
Already holding true to the resolution.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah. You know, most people give up their goals within 12 hours after making them, but here you stuck with it.
Yeah, I wrote down some goals from last year, and I have yet to see if I did anything correctly in 2025. I'm afraid to check, but yeah.
I think we just set it to, you know, just set that course to go forward.
Yeah, just don't make don't make the next year worse. Just set the bar low and then see
Exactly.
what happens.
Yep. So, Daryl, you are very new to the Boss Rush community. Please tell us, what do you do?
Yeah, so I am an internet something, I suppose. I make videos about games and I talk about them. And sometimes I talk about things outside of games, but usually it's just video essays, right? It's typically about. It started out about psychology and sort of how that intersected with video games and like the design of them and sort of how that worked. And it sort of branched out into me just sort of talking about anything related to video games at all that I found interesting. So back in the day, I did a video on automaticity, which is looking back is one of my favorite videos I've done. Automaticity, by the way, is just something that happens. It's a psychological phenomenon. When you drive to the store, right, you don't really remember driving sometimes because driving for you has sort of become semi-automatic. If you play piano for a long time, it just becomes second nature. And so I did that and how that related to speed running, and that was a really fun video. And I'd actually like to revisit that at some point. And then nowadays, I mean, now that I've kind of moved beyond that, like I had a video last year that was like how romance in video games is portrayed, and also how it's portrayed in media, and also how we as people connect to that and sort of what that does to us. And so it's just stuff like that, video essays. It's nothing that you guys probably viewers have not seen before. It's just my particular take on them, but it's fun. I enjoy doing it.
Ooh, I'll definitely have to check them out. That's definitely the type of content I like to listen to.
Well, and what I like about your stuff is that you actually vetted with research. Working in the healthcare field, research is everything to me.
Oh yeah,
like
for sure.
everything
Mhm.
has to be grounded in some sort of
Mhm.
research, some sort of science, some sort of like evidence that this is what's
Backed
happening.
with
Yeah,
evidence.
Yeah.
exactly. So
Well,
when you portray a lot of your video essays and saying like I think one of the more recent videos that you had was about artificial romance. Like, man, you were every 10 seconds research paper on like all
yeah,
these different studies on like AI chatbot romances and like attachments with fictional characters and like what it does to the human psychology. It's like,
yeah.
it makes your content more believable instead of just I'm some white guy on YouTube with a camera and like, no offense
I heard a
because you're
rumor
white,
that said
but
and said happened, and therefore I'm
Right.
going to make a video about it.
No,
yeah.
yeah, I hear you coming
Yeah.
from. No, that was actually a particularly difficult video to write because I felt like more than ever I needed the research because it was kind of a very sensitive topic. I mean, there are a lot of people, not to get too deep into this, we're going to talk about the backlog in a bit, but
Mhm.
there are people that really relate to a lot of these characters and experience
Mhm.
the fictional romance.
Yeah.
And I think it's part of fiction. I think we all experience that. We relate to characters, and so I thought that for that video especially, again, one of the most challenging things I've written, it was extremely important to get the research right because the last thing you want to do is just start putting statements out there that instantly make people go, oh, you're just
Mhm.
making fun of the way that I behave and consume media. And so that was a challenge, but I look back on that one very fondly. It was extremely rewarding, and the comments were really really fun to read, and that's what I think is my favorite thing about doing this is that I feel like at this point in my career I actually have a comment section that's very enjoyable to read,
Aw.
and
Yeah,
that I'm
Mhm.
super proud of.
I do like after watching your videos, I do scroll through the comments, and that one in particular was a lot of people had a lot to say about it.
Mm,
It was very
absolutely.
interesting reading a lot of people's additions to your content in that video. So
Yeah, I'll actually let you guys in on a little bit of a secret. In the next 2 to 3 months, I have a video, very similar vein of it that I'm writing. That is a bit more about storytelling as opposed to like how we interact with the characters, but more so about like what has happened to storytelling and how it sort of shifted a certain way. Don't want to say too much more, but just know
Mhm.
that's coming. That's kind of a cool thing.
Ooh, free preview. Nice.
Mhm.
I'm in no matter what.
Yeah.
You
No.
your last video where you were going back through some of your old stuff that you didn't post.
Mm.
My wife and I was watching the video with my wife, and she and I had a spirited conversation about how we interpreted 500 Days of Summer. And
Yeah,
let's just say I had a similar story to what you experienced
sure. Yeah,
before seeing that movie. And so it's like, of course, my reaction to the movie was far different than how she reacted.
sure, sure.
And
And that's
yeah, we
yeah, that's the beautiful thing about that movie and why I think it's great. And what I think about I, really good fiction to me is a mirror, and I think that mirror should reflect someone different later in life, and that's one movie that certainly does that.
yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Mhm. Nice. We are grateful that you came and joined us here, Daryl, and we'll definitely give you a shout out in the footnotes. But yeah, no, that I love the idea that there's so much research behind your topics, and that it's not just for clout and like getting those views. It's seriously like you're exploring those topics. You're having that deep conversation regarding them. So
Mhm.
we really
Mhm.
appreciate the authenticity to that.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mhm. All right. Well, as we mentioned, we will be talking about the backlog. But before we talk about what we've been playing in the back, let's talk about what we've been playing in the front.
Front log.
The front log, which may or
That
may not contain
sounds horrible.
backlog.
Yeah.
Before you party in the back, let's no.
Let's see
Stoy.
what you're parting with in the front.
Yeah. Let's see what you're packing in the front, Stoy.
Oh yeah, little Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past.
Damn.
Nice.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's my favorite Legend of Zelda of all time, but of course I only beat it once in my life. And I think that was one things when I was reining in on my idea of like, hey, retro January, I want to play games that are in my are in my catalog. Daryl, for reference, or actually Stephanie, even for you, my collection now is at 2032. So games that I just keep collecting. So I'm like, well, I got to
good for
start
you.
kind of playing some of this stuff. And the first one I wanted to do was like I haven't beaten Link to the Past in a long time, so I finally got back into it. Never realized how frustratingly difficult that last freaking dungeon is. That last dungeon was some bullshit. Like, I'm like, why? Like, the whole rest of the game, like the whole like 95% of the game was great. You know, not saying smooth sailing, but it was like enjoyable. Like, I love the atmosphere, I love the music, I love the side stories, the side content. Everything about that game is great, but except that last fucking dungeon, man.
I think that's
It-
kind of like why a lot of us might gloss over it when we look back, because we think of every other aspect of the game and all the previous dungeons, and you kind of forget that little rough patch at the end where you're like pulling your hair out.
yeah, it's like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I I could just end it here. I'll just end it here. You know,
No,
but
you're so close.
I stayed
It's like,
adamant.
I saved everyone. We're good. We
Yeah,
don't need
I
to
was like,
destroy the evil.
everybody's
He comes
fine.
back anyways.
Everybody's fine in my head. Everything's okay.
Yeah, well,
You know,
just like that. You know what? Ganon's always going to come back anyway, so what's the point?
yeah. What's the point? There's so many other Legends of Zeldas after that.
Mhm.
The flute boy though, that story still always like kind of like haunts me, because like the first time I saw that as a kid, my brain blew up. I was like, so what? He's just dead? What? What?
Yep.
Just like that? It's crazy.
Boy
Anyway.
turned into a tree.
Yeah, like I thought I was gonna save this kid. I was like, it's like the story about this guy that loses his son to the dark world. You go to the dark world, it's like, hey, here he is. I could just bring him back to the light world. And he's like, well, my time is up. And he turns into a tree right before your eyes. And I'm like, huh?
I've always appreciated some of those little subtle tragedies they sneak into the subplot of Zelda games.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a lot. I think oddly enough, even one of the more haunting ones that I had was the one in Skyward Sword with the bat. He had kind of a tragic story. I
Mhm.
remember. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, but I remember when I beat it for the Wii like all those years ago, I was like, "Damn, this is kind of sad."
Was that the quest that had like the gratitude crystals?
That was him,
You have to
yeah.
collect-
Yeah.
You have to collect all the
Yeah.
gratitude crystals and give it.
He had
and
some
give it
like
to him at
French
the end.
name.
Easily one of
Mhm.
the weirdest currencies in a Zelda game ever.
Yeah.
Gratitude crystals.
Yeah, that was. I'm pretty sure they were trying to speak a message, but so
Very subtle.
yeah, no. The one thing I did differently this time around with Link to the Past was I actually followed a 100% completion walkthrough.
Mhm.
And I kind of like dumbed it down to be like, just go here and get these here. Go, at this, after this dungeon, hit up these spots, and then, then go to the dungeon. Then after that, hit up these spots. Now go to the next dungeon. So I finished with like all hearts and everything. Yeah, so it was fun, man. I still love that game. It's still my favorite Zelda in the series. I mean, who knows when I'll go back to it and beat it again, but so I also got a light gun for my Polymega. And for those that don't know, I think Steph, because I was talking about the Polymega, but it's like my retro system that I can play retro games on. And it's disc-based games too. So after a year and a half of pre-ordering it, I finally have a light gun that I could use on my HD TV. So
That's
I was going back and
awesome,
playing,
dude.
just going back and playing Duck Hunt on my HD TV, Time Crisis. Found out I'm not as good at aiming as I used to be. My shoulders get tired. My back gets
Ooh.
sore because I'm like sitting here like this. I'm like, oh my god, But still fun. I love light gun games. That was definitely something we were missing a lot in this generation. I know it's kind of shoved into VR, which is cool. I love VR, but nothing like an old school light gun game. Like Area 51 or Point Blank was always fun for the PlayStation. But
I always think of when you go to like the arcade, it was attached to the pizza restaurant you went to, and there would be like the deer hunt, and there would just be the guns hanging off the thing.
Yeah.
You had like put them back, and then it didn't work.
Yeah,
I always thought those were cool. It was such a unique little piece of gaming history that you would shoot at the screen, and it would
It always kind of makes me laugh that what was it? Back to the Future 2. Where like Marty goes up and plays Wild Gunman, And then it's like the kids are like, you have to use your hands to play. That's like a baby's toy. And that was supposed to be, what year was that supposed to be? 2015?
15, I think.
Yeah, that was it.
That's funny.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No hoverboards, no laceable sneakers, or
Yeah.
automatically laced sneakers or whatever.
Yeah, I think the Cubs won the World Series the year after.
Oh, I remember that. I was
Yeah.
in college. That was a good time.
2016. Yeah, but yeah, no, it was fun. Like actually going through the backlog. One of the ones that I bought the game like a year ago, Resident Evil Survivor for the PlayStation. It was initially supposed to come out as a light gun game, but it got like the game didn't get canceled, but the mechanics of the game got canceled last minute because I think Columbine had happened. And Japan was pretty leery about throwing out light gun games to the American audience because of like all the backlash, you know, like video games are causing kids to like go out and shoot their schools and stuff. So they turned it into a really bad first person shooter and just stilted bad mechanics, you know, with you were moving around a reticule with your D-pad. It was just awful. So, but the Japanese version you could play with a light gun. So I bought the Japanese version on eBay a year and a half ago, and it was sitting around in my collection waiting for this light gun to show up.
Oh man, that would be sick.
Oh yeah, I was giggling. I was giggling the whole time. So Daryl, I'm a pretty big Resident Evil fan, so for me that was like, man, 16, I think 16, 17 when that game came out. I was like, man, 16-year-old me is finally thinking, yeah, man, you made it.
Are you excited about Requiem coming out?
Yes, and it's kind of a funny thing because I'm a big Leon Kennedy fan, as I said before recording, but I was kind of hoping maybe another character would be in the spotlight a little bit. Leon Kennedy has like 3 games in a row. You know?
Yeah, I was kind of shocked that they dropped that bomb at the Game Awards because it's like, that's cool. And you know, he's older in this. I saw a really funny article that was apparently like all the women on staff were giving feedback about his little bit, you know, grizzled older appearance, which I thought was
the hot uncle look. Apparently,
exactly. And but I was shocked. I was like,
Porsche SUV.
yeah. I just couldn't help but think like, damn, that would have been cool to find out as you played. You know, like I'm really shocked. Like, did they really need to do that to sell more copies? People are going to buy Resi. Yeah, so I was hoping that you would just play the game and then find out, oh, look, Leon, like it would be a rewarding experience in the game. But it is what it is. Maybe he shows up.
That would be awesome. I just feel like at some point, either by like deluxe editions or something, like people might notice, which is unfortunate. I feel like secrets were better kept back in the old days, you know?
Yeah.
Some people theorize, which I don't necessarily buy into it, but just for S and giggles, why am I censoring myself? That like Grace is looking one way or looking forward, Leon's looking one way. They're like, oh, Jill, maybe Jill or something. I'm like, I don't know, guys. That's a lot of characters to throw into a mainline game. Yeah, I mean, it would be
becomes
cool.
Fire Emblem,
right? Then we get 6 again.
Well, that was the theory, right? Like they're going back to Raccoon City. Who's going to show up from the past games? You know, is it going to be like, you know, you enter Raccoon City, go to an underground bunker, and there's Jill, Barry, Chris Redfield, like all the old guys. You got even Rebecca. Sheva's made an appearance. Why has Sheva not been in a game since Resident Evil 5? I don't know, but like we need all of them back. Even Helena Carter from Resident Evil 6, for crying out loud.
You know, I've always found it a really interesting topic of like, how much do you want to tell people before the game comes out? Like I had, this isn't a game, but I recently finished a book called Project Hail Mary. Extremely good book. If you like sci-fi, I really can't recommend it enough. But they're making a movie. It's got Ryan Gosling, and in the trailer, they spoil like one of the biggest plot points. And clearly it was to sell that it's not just like another space movie. They wanted to like tell you this thing to potentially get you to go buy a ticket, which I understand. But I just thought like that was really a kind of a big deal. I'm surprised they showed that. So I don't know. Between that and seeing the Leon Kennedy thing, I really feel like there needs to be a larger conversation of how do we, if you are selling a game or anything really, how do you get people to come see it or come play it and yet still reserve your biggest surprises? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's gotta be hard though, because like in these days, we have the internet. I guarantee you, like Leon would be spoiled just before the game came out.
Yeah.
Like like the Last of Us 2, for example,
Mhm.
the infamous what happened, to the character.
I didn't get spoiled to that, by the way. I actually played it for the first time like last year, and I was shocked when it happened. I was like, "What?"
Really?
Somehow
Yeah,
I did not get spoiled to it, which was
I think you
beautiful.
mentioned that in one of your videos, and I was like,
Mhm.
how did this guy not know?
Don't know.
Well, I'm
Mhm.
fairly I'm just guessing, but I'm sure that Capcom has one more thing in
Oh,
store
yeah.
before game release, and then next year is the official 30th anniversary for this franchise, so I'm sure there'll be like other things. Maybe they'll announce whatever they're remaking next and all that stuff. So,
Code Veronica.
Mhm. Wesker revival. Let's go. We find out he didn't melt in volcano.
I was gonna say if he shows up in 9, I'm gonna be pissed.
Come on, we have not seen Leon versus Wesker yet.
No, that's a Chris and Wesker fight. That's a Chris and Wesker fight. Means a lot more that way.
True. Or Jill. You know what? Jill needs to come back and get revenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now here's the thing: if Leon's there, is Ada gonna make like a cameo?
100% yes.
She has to.
She has to.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's really pretty much what I've been playing. I think last month I was really trying heavy into finishing up Ghost of Yote, but that game is so distracting. Like, just you're riding to your objective and it's like, oh, look, a fox den. Oh, look, that bird wants me to go there. I should follow that bird. Or like, oh, hey, there's like a village here. Hey, some guys, stranded on the side of the road. Oh, it's a bunch of people trying to kill me. Oh, darn. So, yeah, the game is just so easily distracting. But otherwise, that's really what I've been playing.
Very cool. Daryl, what have you been playing these days?
Remarkably little, believe it or not. With the holidays, I haven't had a chance to do a lot. This past week or so, I for those of you that are watching this, and or for those of you here that have watched the most recent backlog video I did, the thing that I was trying to do in 2026 was play like weird games, like play strange Steam games that like people aren't really talking about, and so I had some people recommend some stuff. But I was able to get through 3 demos because I just wanted to knock out some demos, and I actually finished the game earlier this morning. So first thing I played was a demo called Metamorphosis. Very, very cool game. You play as a nun who is basically going through some very Silent Hill-esque nonsense. Is pixel art, really good pixel art, really good sound design.
Pixel art, I'm sold.
Yeah, the user interface, like when you go to the menu, it is like, I wrote a Patreon thing about it earlier, and the way I described it, I'll stand by. If you ever heard the song "Change" by Deftones, imagine you take that song, put it in a shotgun shell, and shoot your screen, and that's like what the vibe of the menu is. And I just was blown away with the menu. But it's a really
sold
cool.
this game to me already.
Yeah, it's so cool. The platforming is a little iffy. The combat's a little iffy. But it's a demo, right? So that's one thing I played. That's really cool. Motor Slice is a game that I have been keeping an eye on. It's I played the demo for it. The demo was okay. My computer didn't like it. I think my computer just disagreed with it. But the camera was a little wonky. But you basically play as it's kind of like Prince of Persia. It's sort of a 3D platform, maybe a little Mirror's Edge too in there. But you just play through this giant construction zone. And Kira Buckland, who voices 2B, voices, and Nier Automata voices the girl that is the main character. So hope that pans out. That was a cool demo. Immortium I played. Immortium was fine. It had a little bit of promise. But the game that I finished this morning was a game called The Non-Existence of You and Me. Just a little 3-hour visual novel. And it was, I really can't say much other than it's very good. The dialogue was shockingly good. It's very anime. It's very good art. But to say much more would sort of betray what the game is trying to do. But highly recommend. It's very cheap. I think it's on sale for like $1.50 on Steam right now. So I'm going through weird stuff right now.
What was that called again?
The Non-Existence of You and Me. And so it won't be for everyone, by the way. You might boot it up and be like, not for me. But it's I think for a certain somebody, like, it's a very, very fun little game.
How would you describe, I guess, the gameplay? Like, there's several different kind of visual novel styles. Is this like, do you have like choices that you can make, or is it like basically a
Yeah.
very linear, like, does it just you're watching the story unfold, or do you get to choose and like interact with things with it?
There are choices do matter. You do make a handful of choices. Some of them don't. Some of them it's just like, okay, this dialogue tree is just going to get a different reaction out of the character. It's not actually going to affect the story.
Okay.
There are other interactions where it does affect the story, but you don't know which is which. So it truly captures sort of how you actually play the game, which is cool. I like that. I like that it sort of captures how you actually are as a person.
Mm,
And there were multiple endings. There was one secret ending that I just looked up because I was curious, and I break games once I finish them, and I want to make sure I do everything I can. And there
right.
was one ending where you I don't want to say too much other than it was very unique how you unlock it. And it was also kind of tragic and sad. So good game. Highly
Mm,
recommend.
okay. I always like a good visual novel.
Same.
Hmm. All right.
Oh, and I'm playing
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate as well. That's been fun, but that's slow and steady getting through that.
First playthrough.
First time. Yep. So, but I'm liking it
Nice.
so far.
Yeah, and that is a game I have not touched yet, even though I'm a massive RPG fan, because it intimidates me.
You
Oh
know,
yeah.
I
The
tried.
choices.
I tried. I have the 4-disc physical copy of it. I waited a whole
Oh,
year and a half after the game came out for this physical copy because I wanted a physical copy. And man, that is a tough game. That is a game that humbles you a lot. Like a
Yeah.
lot. And it's just a matter of like how much punishment are you willing to take for like your entire like whatever thoughts you have of that gameplay, like it's not going to turn out how you want it to be. I don't know, Daryl, if you think that's accurate, but
Yeah, no, I would agree. I think number one, someone will be mad when I say this, but I turned the easy mode on. I just did. Like the
yeah.
combat has been kicking my butt.
Mhm.
I might kick it up whenever I start to fully understand it. But it's a tsunami of options as far as combat goes, which is
hmm
cool, which is really
Mhm.
really cool. And I think that a second and third playthrough is going to really enrich that. But as a first time player, it's like, oh man, I don't know. But the dialogue I like. I like that the dialogue kind of has some consequences for what you say. You can slip up and say the wrong thing. I go back and forth on if I want to save scum in that game, but I just can't help actually doing it because I'm like, no, I really want to see what happens if I do it. So it's tough to have a genuine experience whenever the game lets you save scum like that, but I think that's just part of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's tough to save scum. Actually, a friend of mine was talking about today save scumming in Cyberpunk, but because he's beating the Phantom Liberty DLC, and he's like having this existential crisis of who he wants to pick in the end. And I'm like, hey man, like I don't want to tell you what to do one way or another, but I feel like you have like 4 or 5 different options. He's like, yeah, but they all suck. I'm gonna save scum, and then I'm gonna try to like replay all the different options. And I'm like, you're not gonna like any one of them.
Right.
So
It's crazy when you have like a whole bunch of like consequences regarding, any of the choices that you make.
so many forms of gray.
Hmm. That's how games be these days.
Yep.
Steph, what have you been playing?
well, speaking of Ghost of Yotei, I finally beat Ghost of Yotei.
Oh.
I
Nice.
got to a point where I personally just felt like I couldn't do any more side stuff because of said backlog pressure, and I'm like, and like I was thinking, oh, I'll get to Expedition 33 before Resident Evil, like all on my PlayStation console. I'm like, all right, it's January, February, I don't know. So I just said, all right, I gotta clear out Ghost of Yotei. So I finally beat it. You know, I loved it. I still personally still prefer Tsushima over this, but that does not mean I did not like Yotei. I did. I loved it. I loved how it ended. The battles are great. I love chasing after like the legendary stuff. I love the tribute to Sakai that you could do and the relation to the shinobi. I think that was a wonderful touch.
Hmm.
The music's fantastic. Art, it should have won best art direction, but anyway. So Ghost of Viote, Chef's Kiss.
Did you find the art
Oh.
of Sly Cooper?
No, I didn't. I must have missed that.
I think I got a side tangent about climbing a mountain up in the Kisugai region, and I was climbing a mountain, and all of a sudden I turn around and I see this wall, and it was like this like graffiti on this wall, and it looked like it was like a kind of a Japanese art rendition of Sly Cooper.
No way! I have to probably reboot the game just for that.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's in the Kisugai region.
Okay.
And, actually,
there are a lot of those actually.
I actually took a picture of it. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah,
that's no. You'll find one of like
Cooper.
Cole as well. Cole's in there too.
Oh yes, okay.
Yep.
Make another info for this game, you cowards.
That's cool. Very cool. I love when developers do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of games on the Steam sale. So because of the Steam sale, I ended up playing and beating 2 Steam games. No, I'm Not a Human and Dispatch, both of which I think got pretty popular, but I am that kind of person that gets really stubborn and like, no, I'm not going to play it because everyone else is playing it.
But now that it's
Dispatch. You should, yeah.
Well, I did. But now it was on sale. I'm like, fine, I will. So I played both and I beat both. So, no, I'm Not a Human. I friggin' loved it. I played it several times. I think I got up to 3 different endings. I think they have like 10 endings. I'm like, all right, 3's good.
Wow.
Is it the one where they come to your door and you have to like decipher and figure out? Okay, yeah, that's
yes. It's like crazy messed up, but I love stuff like that. I really love it. The art style is so unsettling. Like that, I don't know. I just love. When I say weird games, I don't say it in a judging way. I say it in an endearing way. So it kind of gave me that little bit of a.
Looks like one of the Titans from Attack of the Titans.
Yeah. So
I think weird games I forgot to talk about. I played Rat Shaker just the other last week.
Rat Shaker, nice. It was
yeah, sure.
Can we go back to saying Attack of the Titans, because when you said that, I think as the show I believe is called Attack on Titan, but when you said Attack of the Titans, for whatever reason it made me think of the football movie Remember the Titans crossed over with Attack on Titan, and that was just a very funny visual.
I might mix things up. No, it's cool.
That would be an interesting crossover.
Yeah.
Dispatch was great. I went for trying to keep things just friendly with the blonde blazer and go for Vizzy. And I thought I made all pro Vizzy moves, except for maybe one thing towards the end. And I don't know if that really was the determining factor, because I did not get the best ending with her and I was very upset. And if I want to replay that scenario, I don't think I can skip past like the cinematic parts, which is a bummer, but I'll definitely go back to the game to try out different decisions. But yeah, I beat that too, and I loved it. I love that art style. The humor is like the writing is brilliant. I loved it, and I kind of want them to release a mode where you could just do the dispatching part, because it was fun.
An unlimited dispatch mode would be amazing, I think.
Honestly, I mean I would be such a slam dunk for them. You know,
I feel the same way about the mini game Queen's Blood in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That was so much fun.
I'm curious how they're going to bring that back in the third one, because they said that they're bringing it back and they're going to expand on it.
Let's go. Make it physical cards. Nice. I buy them. Yeah. Also, Steph, I agree on Dispatch. I haven't played it yet. I've heard good things. I'm gonna play it this month. It's on my this month list. So
perfect. Perfect. And just a quick roundup, I won't speak too long on it. The little bit that I played with my Analog 3D, of all games I ended up picking to play first was the Goemon, the first Goemon game. I just primarily ran around and explored the beginning part of it, because it was around the time where like my son was home from school, so I couldn't really focus. And playing a retro game, I feel like I need to kind of pay more attention, because there's not a lot of modern tools to help you remember where you are and what you're doing. So I immediately kind of forgot what I was doing, so I might have to start over again. But I love it. It's a lot of fun.
You don't have that voice in your ear set going, Mega Man, Mega Man. In order for you to jump, you have to hit the A button.
Oh,
Or
the good
Miles
old days.
McKinley telling you go over to that place. Don't forget, you should check out this place. Hey, you should hit those green crystals.
Yeah.
Or Fee and Skyward Sword. Master, it seems you have forgotten how to walk.
Just
you know
like
what?
the ultimate, like, yeah, she's just bashing.
They all say
like,
Fee or Fi. I've heard it both ways.
I just watched the video recently that actually went over all the reasons why all the characters are named the way they are, which actually kind of blew my mind a little bit. And it is Fi, but I have to now change 15 years of history for me calling her Fee, but now it is technically Fi.
Yeah, I recently found out that canonically the main character of Final Fantasy X is in fact named Titus and not Titus. And
nope.
Ever since
I refuse to do
it's
that.
Titus.
Yeah,
it's Titus.
Ever since I have been in shambles.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
On the cover of the game, he's walking in on the tide. Should be Titus.
Shit.
It is what it is.
Logic.
Yeah.
Right.
Titus just
So
rolls
that's
off
me.
the tongue better.
How about you, Pat? What have you been playing?
Well, I have been on an adventure game kick after Shadow of the Tomb Raider, so I decided to download Indiana Jones and the Great Circle because I actually did not finish that game. And it's interesting because it was the first game I played in 2025, and it also became the last game I played in 2025.
How fitting.
It all came around in a
beautiful.
circle.
Like a circle.
Yeah. Yep.
The Great Circle. I get it.
One great circle.
Yeah, well,
yeah. And after playing it right after Tomb Raider, it is definitely a lot slower of a paced game than Tomb Raider was. Not saying it's bad. It's interesting because you have these three major adventure games: Tomb Raider, Uncharted, and now Indiana Jones, and each one has their own unique approach to the adventure genre. So it was nice to see those. I enjoyed the methodical exploring and taking pictures to kind of get clues of how to solve certain puzzles in Indiana Jones. I gotta give it to Troy Baker. He definitely sounds like Harrison Ford, but also he nailed it. But I also feel like it was too much Harrison Ford nailing. It just seemed like, oh, I'm going to yell because that's kind of what a Harrison Ford kind of thing would do.
No, there was
what
that
do you
scene.
mean? I'm like, huh?
There was that scene in the beginning where he's like, "You're not supposed to be here." He does the Harrison Ford finger wag, and I was like, man, just like Harrison Ford. He's man.
Yeah. So
that doesn't be a challenge though. Hey, be like this person. Oh, geez, that's as an actor that has to be a tough note.
Yeah. I mean, props to Troy Baker, who literally embodies Harrison Ford. And we're talking probably old Harrison Ford because obviously, you're watching a lot of his stuff from the early 80s, early 90s and stuff. Man, be like that guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, Indy is supposed to be maybe probably in his 30s in this, but he sounded more like 60-year-old Indy from Temple of the Skull or Temple of the
Crystal Skull.
Crystal Skull. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah.
Whatever the Crystal Skull name was.
I don't blame you for forgetting the name of that. It's a forgettable movie.
Yeah, the something Crystal Skull.
Whatever. Anyway.
Dial of Destiny.
Yeah.
Great Circle.
Whatever.
So I beat that. I platinumed it as well. And then I went straight to the Order of the Giants. And that one was it focused a lot more on the puzzle aspect.
Yeah.
Versus the more open-endedness of the original game. Before you could go around and pick up side quests or explore and find little mysteries on the side, there weren't as many little mysteries on the side in this one. But what you got instead were a lot more complex puzzles. And like I think I really like that aspect more of the game series, is the going through the ruins and exploring those puzzles. And a lot of them really made me think. Stoy, did you try Order of the Giants?
Yeah, I did. Admittedly, I tried it a little bit later after it came out. The multi puzzle where you're trying to like take the sword and you're moving it toward like different icons on the floor. Man, that stumped me for a long time. I was like, what are these clues trying to tell me? And it's like you're reading a poem, and then you have to decipher what this poem is telling you, or what this story is telling you of like, you have to like point to the north. Okay, so this is nautical north technically, and then like, and then to the west of the fortress, it's like, okay, that's a fort. Like it was so convoluted. It took me a long time.
For me, it was the flaming marble going through the maze and making sure you hit the statues in the right order, but you only had the 3 pipes that you could move around and make sure that like it actually stayed on the track.
The BioShock water puzzle too. That was the other one.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed it.
Daryl, you know what I'm talking about. The BioShock.
Yeah. I played BioShock a couple years ago, and I think I might have blacked it out. I remember rolling credits on that game, but there's so little of it that I remember. But you said that, and I like unlocked in memory. I was like, wait, did I suffer once upon a time?
Did I just unlock some trauma to you? I'm sorry.
Just a little bit.
Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah,
I'll pull through.
Yeah,
BioShock was cool. Though.
Yeah, no, it really was. But yeah, that puzzle was like, well, this is kind of annoying. It was more annoying to me, I think.
Oh wait, I just realized, is it the little thing where you have to unlock? Like it's used multiple times in the game.
Games.
Yeah, it's a hacking.
Yes. Oh my goodness gracious! Really, really clever game. Like I really enjoyed it, but boy, it was like when you add the timer to it, it's like
Yeah. At the very least, at Indiana Jones, there wasn't a timer, but it still annoyed the hell out of me.
Yeah, no, that one you could. Well, except for the flaming marble one, which rolled automatically, but at least the other puzzles you could like had a bit of trial and error without having to redo like a whole 3 to 5 minute like segment just because you missed one pipe.
Yeah. I didn't remember what you were talking about, but now I remember the flaming marble one.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, I definitely would like to see more Indiana Jones games in the future. Like they have Indiana Jones could have so many awesome adventures that they could explore. And I'm all for that. Any excuse to go around and explore ruins.
I would like to see young Indiana Jones. Maybe not using Harrison Ford's likeliness. Maybe something like early 20s. Obviously we've had young Indiana Jones adventures in the past, but
if they don't use Harrison Ford, they're just going to end up using Tom. What's his name?
Tom Holland.
Huh? Thank you, Holland. Yeah.
I thought you were about to say Tom Hanks, and I was going to say that's a very different Indiana Jones.
I know Tom Hanks.
I thought you were going to say Tom Hardy.
No, I blanked out on
could you imagine?
Holland.
Yeah. Nah, who are we kidding? It's going to be Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt is the next Indiana Jones.
Him or Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell is where my money's at. He's everything these days.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah. So
we could get a reboot of Indiana Jones and have Jack Black in it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
No, he would have to be Sala. He'd have to be Sala. I could totally see him as that.
He'd be the monkey.
Yeah, sure.
Speaking of monkeys,
what a segue.
I decided to, because it has absolutely nothing to do with monkeys, actually.
What a segue.
One of my friends recently posted about playing Chicory, Colorful Tale, a little indie game that I got a physical edition a while back, but never actually played. So this was a backlog game that I wanted to try out. But he showed he showed a video of a boss fight, and that's something I didn't realize Chicory had in the game, and that these boss fights were like acid trips.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whoa.
So I'm like, I kind of want to see what this game is about now. And so I'm currently playing a little bit of Chicory, A Colorful Tale.
Do you
And
like
I
it?
gotta say, it was hard to get into to start off with, to be perfectly honest with you, which is sad because I like games that involve color, but it's like, moving that paintbrush on the Switch was hard.
Mm.
Like, you hold down the button and you're trying to make a good shape out of it, and it's like,
Wait, are you playing
and
it in
then you only
handheld
had
mode?
like, no,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
playing it with a Pro controller.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then you only had like 4 colors, and it's like, I want more colors than this, and I didn't realize you got the colors, different colors depending on what region that you're in.
Yeah.
And then finally, I learned something that was a game changer to me. You hold the button down, and it just fills in the spot.
Yep.
And it's like, dude,
Yep.
I don't have to paint this by hand anymore.
I forget if I knew that or not. And it's been a couple years since I played Chicory.
No, I didn't learn that until at least a good hour into the game. And then it was like a complete game changer because I was no longer having to, like, just kind of color things in using a brush and like, let me fill in the shapes. Wrong
It
shape.
did make me
I don't
sad
like the color here.
it did make me sad in the beginning because of like my OCD where I wanted everything to be in the line.
Yeah.
Because I was using the controllers and the Switch. But once I let that go, it became very fun. So
Yeah.
It works itself
I
out in
won't-
the end.
Yeah, I mean, a good portion of my world is still white. Like, I'm not painting all those maps unless there's a reason to paint them. But I love the boss fights. My gosh, those boss fights are fun. They are crazy looking. And, now I'm kind of understanding that there is a reason behind the boss fights, that they're not just bosses to be bosses, but that they manifest something else going on in the game.
Yeah, this game has a lot to say. It has a lot to say underneath all the layers.
yeah.
It's pretty traumatic. Like, I'm like, wow. Not what I expected when I first played it.
Yeah. I'm also liking the abilities and some of the little puzzles that are creeping up in the game, especially now that I got more abilities to use. So it was a slow burn, but I'm getting the appeal of why people really like this game. And while it may not be one of my favorite, I'm still enjoying it.
There's a YouTuber out there that I think would he'd do a really good job making a video based on this game.
Mm.
Can't think of his name off the top of my head, but
I've never touched Chicory. I've heard of it, but y'all talking about it reminded me of a game I actually weirdly enjoyed in a similar vein a very long time ago. Did anyone here ever play on the old DS, Pokemon Ranger?
Yes.
Do you remember
Yes.
destroying your screen? Because that's exactly what but it was fun though. Like, I didn't even care. It was so captivating because it was actually weirdly well designed. I feel like there was a risk reward thing where you could keep going, but you could like time the stop right. I don't know. I just remember that game being actually quite fun.
Yeah, those were the first Pokemon games I ever beat. We need another one. Yeah.
Another Pokemon Ranger?
We need more Pokemon Rangers, yeah.
Okay. Preferably a way to play it where you don't destroy the equipment that you're playing with.
Yeah, don't destroy
you just take the Joy-Con and, spin it around a bit. The Joy-Con works, at least for the Switch 2, that Joy-Con is actually remarkably accurate and very easy to reset if it, tends to go off in one direction or another. I played a lot with it used on the Mario Galaxy. I tend to play that one with Joy-Cons instead of the Pro Controller. So, anyways,
if it plays House of the Dead well, then I never thought about that.
I do not know.
Because House of the Dead with the original Switch Joy-Cons plays awful.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I just feel like the gyro.
Speaking out loud.
And like, it's a smarter technology. The Joy-Con controllers are now.
The one time that I remember using a Joy-Con and thinking, like specifically the motion controls are just fabulous, it's the one Mario Party mini game where you're trying to flip like a cube of meat and sear each side. And I remember thinking like, hey, that's pretty good. But that's like the only time in recent history I can remember where I was like, yeah, this is good motion controls. And I say that in the nicest way possible because there's no circumstances in which I would play anything with motion controls these days. You know what I mean? But it's cool that it exists. It's really cool that it exists. It just never found its way to me.
Yeah.
I guess I played Arms a lot back in the day too. That was pretty fun.
The mini games of 1-2 Switch were all right. I mean,
I never played those for whatever reason.
Oh yeah.
Like milking the cow.
The quick draw game was actually kind of fun.
It looked fun.
Yeah.
I like the count the marble ones because that just the testing of the vibration control and how it like went from one side of the controller to the other.
The motion control for when you played Breath of the Wild and you were like in your bullet time to shoot an arrow, I thought that was pretty nice.
Yeah.
I could usually that was pretty cool.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So I'll take it back. Maybe the Joy-Cons are pretty saucy in that department.
You just need someone that can actually use it well. Like, I won't lie, I did pick up the Welcome Switch Tour for the Switch 2. And, while it's an expensive tech demo, it really showcases a lot of what the Joy-Con and that Switch is capable of. So it's definitely worth checking out if you have the money to burn, but it's definitely not something I recommend everyone go out and get.
What is it, $10?
Yeah, it's $10.
Okay. All right.
It's a glorified tech demo with some really hard tech demos in it. Whew, some of those games are actually very frustrating. Not because of like because of like technology. It's they just get hard sometimes. But yeah. So guys, are we ready to talk about the backlog, that looming shadow in every gamer's life?
End the episode right here. I don't want
to. No.
Yeah.
We're gonna dive deep here. We're gonna try to find that ever-growing darkness that is overshadowing everything else. When you reach out to that new game and then there's 5 other games staring at you behind, like, what are you doing, man? You still haven't touched us.
Yeah,
it's intimidating.
The stack just gets taller and taller with each passing year.
Just like the dishes in the sink.
Yep.
Yep. You start a year with, let's say, 100 backlog titles still left in your library, and then you end the year with 124 more backlog titles in your library. Granted, that's still a great year, but
admittedly, I think it begs to be said out loud that we are a small percentage of the, I don't know how you would call it, gamers, so to speak, who play multiple different types of games. I mean, I know every 5 out of like 200 people that I know play multiple different types of games, multiple different types of genres. And then I know 150 other people that are like, I play Call of Duty, I play Overwatch, I play FIFA. That's all I play every year.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, you're missing out on so many other good games. Like I was begging one of my coworkers for the last couple of years for my God, man, play Ghost of Tsushima. Please play Ghost of Tsushima. And he just beat it last month. And I was like, oh, man, you going to play Ghost of Yote again? It's like, I don't know, man. I just got FIFA 2000. I got FIFA 26 and whatever. I'm like, yeah, here we go again. Yeah. 2026. I don't know. But yeah, so I think we're a small minority of, gamers out there, I guess, to use that word, that we feel like we have to play everything.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think a lot of it is I think there is people underestimate how many people would like identify themselves as gamers, and yet they truly just play like Fortnite and they play Call of Duty and they play like a sports game, and this is a massive tangent we're not going to go down, but like I think it's some of the same people that watch the Game Awards and get really mad when Spider-Man doesn't win or whatever. It's just like there are lots of games to play. And I think that's where a lot of the anxiety comes in for folks that would like to take down their backlog, because how on earth do you get to it all? Like how do you don't want to have so much potential fun that it makes you have actually zero fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's a lot of those like FOMO,
Yeah, fun was very real.
Yeah, like Expedition 33 won 9 awards this year, the most out of any video game in history. What am I missing out on? It's like, but I'm still stuck in my, Civilization 7 campaign that I just can't put down, but now I want to play this JRPG or FRPG,
Yeah.
So
I think I don't know exactly like how y'all wanted to approach the whole backlog discussion, but I feel like a good place to start, at least for me, has always been just like, why do you have a backlog? Because for me, it was always at the very beginning. For me, it was like, okay, there are two big things. Number one, I feel like I haven't, to do this job, at least like be a gaming YouTuber, I feel like I haven't played enough things. Like I've never played a Resident Evil game. I've never played a Silent Hill game. I've never played Metal Gear Solid. I've never played, and you can go down the list of all these franchises. I see you like, writhing in pain, but like there's a lot of them.
I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
but you see that. And that, by the way, I have played Resi games now at this point, so things have changed. But that was the beginning, like 2 or 3 years ago, or however long it was. I think it was 3, maybe 4 at this point. But it's the why, right? And I think that people get caught up in the list. They see how many potential things they are that can be played, and then it becomes a task instead of something to enjoy. So I think you have to start out with the why, because if the why is to go find new things that you've not played before, to find new things that could change the way you decide to play games in the future, you need to take your time. You need to understand that like this is going to take a while. It should take a while,
I think I mentioned that in one of my comments or conversations, something like, it almost like feels like work in a lot of cases, where it's like, do you have a backlog because there's so many great games that you want to play, you want to experience, or do you have a backlog because, well, 20 of these people are telling me to play 20 of these different games. I feel like I should be playing those games. And like, for example, like I'm reading the Horus Heresy in the Warhammer series, and my friend is like, I really want you to read Stephen King novels. I'm like, I have no time to get into your Stephen King universe right now. I am in the middle of a heresy right now. So like, but it's like, the thought of like, Stephen King is one of the most, famous authors in our time. And I know he makes good books, and it's like, what am I missing out on?
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
I know for me, I like having all those experiences. I also keep saying I have gamer ADHD. Like it's hard for me to stay focused on one title for like several days.
Put that in the
like
DSM, man. I that's a real disease. It's a real disease. Psychiatric Association needs to be keeping an eye on this.
So I have that issue, but it's also like, I feel like with the podcasts, I have to keep fresh with like the new things coming out, which means I can only play something for so long. And then I have to decide, is this something I'm going to continue? Am I going to put it aside? Or am I going to put it aside and like try to get to a later date and, play now the new recent thing? So like a lot of my backlogs are mostly games that I have put some effort into it, but have not completed yet.
Daryl, do you feel that way with like, running your own content channel? Like you feel like, well, I have to play these games for the sake of content or for the sake of, I guess the brand, so to speak, if, putting it badly.
No, 100%. Yeah. And I think that's something that, anyone that makes gaming content deals with. Like the amount of times in the past 5 or 6 years that I have not been able to replay something. I miss replaying games. Like there was a time where, early on in life where I was just like, I loved like, for example, Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door. I played that game like 8 times because I had time to go back and do that. But now it's like, as soon as you finish one thing, it's like, okay, you got to hurry up and move on to the next thing. I had an email the other day of someone who was asking about their backlog process, and basically they were lamenting about the fact that when they finish one game, it's hard for them to find motivation to start something else. So they would finish the game and they're just kind of sitting there like, oh man, I really just want to think about this, and I was enjoying that, and to do anything else kind of contradicts all the emotions that I'm processing right now, and I just kind of don't want to. And I just basically told them, and I'll tell y'all, like when that happens, like just roll with it. You know, like what's happening there is your mind is processing these things. Like you should allow yourself to digest it. That's like the healthy thing to do, to have, you know, observations and things. I always write. I think this is extremely helpful, especially if you're trying to move on to the next thing. I always write down everything that I'm thinking about it, and that's helpful for videos. But I think that's also just healthy for people in general to process thoughts and feelings and emotions and opinions. Is just write about it. You don't have to share it with anyone. It can sit in a document in your computer, or just be in a journal, but just write about it. It helps you process it. And if you're trying to get more done in the backlog, it helps you get to the next thing, because now you've sort of found a place to put all those thoughts and emotions.
Yeah, you got to unpack it.
Exactly. You have to unpack it. So I think that's a critical piece of that. But to answer your question, yes, I 100% have experienced the whole, gee, I got to keep going now. I have to go play this now. I have to go play that now. I need to be done with this soon. I have stress. I stressed about finishing Silk Song whenever Silk Song came out. And I was on stream like freaking out because I have to do another stream of this now because I didn't beat it tonight after 3 hours of the final boss. So
that's a FOMO thing, I think, because I feel like I should be playing Silk Song, but I got 4 or 5 hours into it, and I'm like, man, I'm just not feeling this.
That's
I'm not
okay.
feeling this. And
it's a brutal
I'm trying
game.
to tell myself that. Yeah. And it's not because of that. Like I love the challenge, you know. Yeah, granted the run backs are kind of annoying. But the I don't know, something for me, I really couldn't, and maybe I should journal, because I think I brought that up in one of my questions and talking points for this episode is like, I'm actually thinking about journaling, you know, creating a book of just like my thoughts on every game I'm playing, whether it's games I've played before or new games I'm playing. Why am I enjoying it? Why am I having fun with it? Am I not having fun with it? Like, am I forcing myself? Am I convincing myself you should be enjoying this? Or, you know, so like I think you brought it up, I think in your 2023 or 2024 video, where that's what you started doing is the journaling. What is it? Mass Effect. Mass Effect is one of my favorite series too, and I think you called it Star Trek with balls.
You know? I did say that.
Yeah. So I was like, I mean, he nails it. You nailed it, but
yeah.
Hopefully not the balls.
Well,
I mean, yeah,
nailed balls.
Yeah, it's a figure of speech, but
yeah. Mass Effect was cool, and Mass Effect was another one of those like quintessential games that I hadn't played, you know. And I actually would still need to go and play 2 and 3, but I really liked it. But yeah, no, the journaling's a big part of it. And I think ultimately, when it comes to organizing the backlog and like actually trying to tackle it, if it's a situation where you are intimidated in any way, shape, or form, whether it's being like finishing this game and starting the next one, or like figuring out you should play your games, or how you should go about it, how you should sort of quantify it all. I think the big thing to kind of remember is that it's meant to be enjoyed, and that there's needs to be like a certain amount of emotional intelligence about it. Like, look, I'm here to enjoy myself. If at any point this becomes a task, it's going to slip away from me. You know what I mean?
No, those are some
hearing that journal idea.
Yeah, no, same here. There's a program out there. I don't know if you looked at Backlog, the website.
Yeah.
You know, I told myself I'm going to try to use that more this year, and I was checking out some of the things. Like, one of those options is that you can journal what you've been playing. Like, and it's not just like log like your hours or I've been playing this. There is an actual notes section where you can put any notes that you want.
I never noticed that. I'm looking at it now and I'm like, yeah, there is a full on like journal, a journal, part of your profile that you could just like add journals.
Yeah. And I've had comments that are like, you should totally check out Backlog. And I've looked at it before. I think it's great. And I think ultimately it's whatever everyone feels comfortable using. Like, by all means, use that. I use Excel because after I graduated college and my job was Excel all the time, I just became like a spreadsheet girly.
You
know what I
and
mean?
you
Like,
and Pat
so-
are so good at Excel. Like
yeah,
I
you
don't know.
know.
Steph, I don't know if you're good at Excel or not, but I'm like I think I learned it in college years ago, but I'm like I don't know
Well,
how to
here's
do
the
this.
thing. I'm okay at Excel. I actually I use Excel a decent amount at my job. I've tried to maintain my backlog on an Excel spreadsheet, and every time I try, I can't keep up. And I think I'm just stuck in the old days where I feel like I want to keep track of it on paper, but then I'm embarrassed to admit that I want to keep track of it on paper. So I really don't have any definitive documentation of what my backlog actually is.
First of all, I think the paper idea is fantastic. You know why?
I
Because on
honestly
paper you
agree.
can cross
Yeah.
through it when it's done. It's nothing more satisfying than being like, just writing it
Yeah.
out that you've done that one. So I'm all for the paper thing. I think
Mhm.
I think you have to find what's effective for you.
I think that's
like
it. I'm like, well, everyone's going digital, but I'm like, I don't know. It's not as satisfying. And then I forget about it.
Well,
Yeah.
there's something tactile about journaling, even like
Oh,
journaling
yeah.
by yourself
Mhm.
with your hand. Getting your feelings from the heart to from the head to your fingers, and then just actually writing it out as opposed to just typing it out.
Hmm.
Granted, yeah, obviously you could probably type faster than you can write, but I don't know. I think that tactile sensation just feels more effective to me with
Yeah.
writing in a journal. So
Mm.
I'm just a dinosaur, I guess, but I like it. What's really funny? Mine is, I don't know, it's kind of a FOMO, but if I could elaborate kind of quick. And sorry, I had to throw my Midna's mouse around because she was howling like a banshee. Like I couldn't focus. That's how loud she was howling.
that's how you playing with your cat the last 20 minutes. I'm like, clearly,
I'm sorry, like
gotta
I
do some
would, but
entertaining. Yeah, it's all good.
she's not
Mhm.
usually this loud. Like I almost thought she was dying, but then I saw her come in with her mouse. So anyway, um, before I joined Boss Rush, I was in my own little Zelda bubble where I would just buy whatever console that had Zelda games and I'd play the Zelda games. But then when pandemic time happened and I made myself 1,000 projects, I'm like, I need something to listen to while I'm doing all these new projects. And I ended up being on Boss Rush writing team, then the Boss Rush podcast, and then that opened my eyes to all these amazing other games out there. But I don't have FOMO in a sense that I feel like I mean, there was a little bit of pressure to be up to date because of the podcast and discussions. But as you heard previously, like I actually kind of don't like playing with what everyone's being all in the rage about. I don't know.
The
But my
anti-bandwagon
FOMO,
effect.
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But my version of FOMO is actually even more weird because I'm a physical collector. I feel like if I don't buy the game right away for some illogical reason, like I know it's illogical, I feel like I'm not going to have access to the game later. I don't know why. It's like I need to have it in my
Mhm.
possession and then I'll play it eventually. It's
That is a real
weird.
feeling because I have that same exact feeling.
Really?
If I don't own the physical
Okay.
disc,
Mhm.
then that game
That's
can
Yeah.
just go away.
fascinating.
Yeah,
That's fascinating to me.
yeah.
Mhm.
Because I, on the other hand, have missed games and went, oh man, I'm probably never going to get to it now. And then 3 years later, I see it on sale on Steam or on PlayStation for like 30% of whatever it originally was. I'm like, oh. And so because of that, I'm like, I'm just going to always do digital. I'm just going to wait for it when my time comes, my time comes. That's interesting. Wow.
Well, see, but that's the smart thing, right? And even whether it's digital or physical, like almost all games, except for maybe first party Nintendo games, eventually get a nice sizable discount in time. And if I know for a fact I won't be able to play it right away, it makes many senses, especially financial sense. But I mean, that's part of what ties into my 2026 resolution goal is to not do that. But
I
yeah,
think you talked about this once before, Daryl, about like creating a wish list just to keep track
Yeah.
of things.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
especially
So
things you want to play. Like I don't think I have time to play it this year, but maybe I can push this off to play it next year.
mhm. Yeah, so the very first backlog video before I had played anything, it was just about like itemizing things.
Mhm.
I did that, and then I felt like, oh, I kind of feel like a sense of relief. And this is before I had done any research for the video. I was just kind of tossing things around. I apologize. I wish I could remember what this study was or like what the psychological phenomenon was. But basically, the findings were that whenever people, and I'm paraphrasing heavily, but basically, when people have a task and they either don't do the task, they do the task, or they plan to do the task, the people that plan to do it and the people that do it feel the best. So just planning it alone instantly gives you a sense of relief. And so, and I think that's why, like, if you're in college or in high school and you have, you get your homework out to do it or to study, but you don't actually start, you feel just a little bit better because like you're about to. And I think that the same thing works for whenever you make your backlog. Like just to itemize it, like if you can just in some way, shape, or form look at all the things you want to play that have already come out, maybe even stuff that you know is going to come out, like however you want to organize it, but just sort of get it in front of you and just so that you can look at it and say to yourself the phrase, okay, this is it. Then you can start to go, all right, well, here's how long each game is based on how long to beat. And just being able to see that, even if it's some gargantuan, ridiculous number, at least then you know. At least it's in front of you. At least it's not this nebulous thing that's behind you and in front of you and above you and below you. It's right there in front of you, and you can sort of size it up. And that alone, I think, gives people a lot of power to sort of say, all right, here's what I can and can't do. It might also help you prioritize. All right, well, this is a long list. Maybe I actually don't care about these 5 games. Maybe I'll just delete them. Maybe I only added this because my friend said I should play it, but he's got weird taste. Things like that. So you can sort of do that mental equation, and I think that is kind of step one to actually getting it done if that's important to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes sense. I think, there is a lot of fun in planning a trip as opposed to like actually going on the trip, so to speak.
Exactly. Or putting stuff in your cart and not actually buying it,
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I do that too with everything else, but
You suppose we could do it in video games now.
no, I like that idea. I think I'm gonna start fresh with a brand new notebook, write down my games that I do have, and then have a wish list side.
I think
'Cause,
this becomes a problem with pre-ordering too, even because
Yes.
it's like the same thing of like, your wish listing on Steam is one thing, but now it's like, hey, I've been pre-ordering my games on Amazon over the last couple of years, and it's sometimes difficult to keep track of, especially. I mean, you can go back and check what games you pre-ordered, but it gets to be almost daunting to where all of a sudden now, hey, 3 of those games you pre-ordered are coming out the same week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
well,
oh no.
and that to me is another that to me is the part of the backlog process that I've only kind of recently discovered, because the first 2 years I just tried
log.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, not only that, but also specifically when. So like initially it was just like play as much as I can, just try really hard, try to find time to schedule, play more, and that was sort of the answer for a year and a half or 2 years there. But what I discovered recently is the best way to do it, and this is the part that however you want to track it, backlogged, an Excel spreadsheet, a journal, however you want to do whatever you need to do. What I feel the most important part that people overlook is how to actually break it down. So what I did, the method that I sort of came up with, is that over the course of those years that I was doing the backlog, I was recording how long I was playing each game and how many games per month I beat, and sort of all these other stats about, that really didn't matter. But the big two were how long was I playing and how many games was I beating. And so over the course of 2 years, I managed to find out that I can play myself realistically on average about 40 hours a week, or excuse me, about 40 hours a month, and about 2 to 3 games a month, give or take. Obviously it's flexible, but that's sort of the window that I have. And I think it's important that everybody do that. Like, don't try super hard to do a ton of your backlog. Just, maybe prioritize playing a little bit more and record how much you actually play for 6 months to a year, and try to understand, all right, this is what my schedule will realistically allow. Once you have that, then you can make a schedule where it's like, okay, in January, I want to play these games. Here's how long they are. I'm just going to slot them in. In February, I want to play these games. Here's how long they are. I'm going to slot them on. Oh, you know what? In February, Resi 9's coming out. Is it Resi 9? Or is it Requiem?
Yeah.
Requiem's coming out. That comes out the end of, I literally did this earlier this week. That's coming out the end of February. I'm going to budget that for March. It's going to be this long of a game. Okay, I know I'm going to be playing that. So I think you have to treat it almost like you do your finances, where it's just like budget your time, and that will help you actually get to things without driving yourself insane, because I've done that.
Steph, I tried to do that with Chronos New Dawn. I was like, I got to try to beat this game before Silent Hill F comes out. And I know if Silent Hill F comes out and I don't beat Chronos, I don't think I'm going to go back to Chronos.
Go back.
Sure enough, guess what happens?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course, now I hear they're like making
Mhm.
an easy mode. So now that's tantalizing to be like, well, maybe I wait for the easy mode just so I can beat it.
Yeah,
'Cause that's
Stoy,
another
I would
thing.
wait for that.
Because that's another thing that Daryl, I think you mentioned, is like there's almost like obviously we can kind of create these like backlogs and be like, man, this is a lot of work. At what point do you just slap the game in easy mode just to finish it? You know?
Oh, I've done it for sure.
Yeah.
I did it. Well, this is before the backlog project, but I did it with Final Fantasy 13 because it was just kicking my butt, and I didn't like the combat system that much. I actually love Final Fantasy 13, despite what everyone says about it. It's not a great game. I'll admit it.
Actually, Final Fantasy 13 2 is my favorite out of that whole trilogy.
Well, I want to play that this year, actually, but that's another story. But I love the game. But yeah, I bumped that into easy mode. I bumped, I think Xenoblade a couple of times. I bumped into easy mode just because I wasn't a big fan of the combat in that game. Love the story in Xenoblade, but just could not. The combat was kicking my butt. I actually, this is a bit of a secret, but I'll just go ahead and let it out. I beat Metal Gear Solid for the first time last year, and I got through, almost all the game. When I got to whatever the boss where you actually had to fight the big robot, it was just so obtuse and so frustrating and so completely unfair that I was like, nah, I'm good. I've paused it. I watched the remaining hour of the game on YouTube, and I don't regret it one bit. But you have to be.
Oh, you missed the infamous Jeep chase scene.
No, I've seen the.
Yeah,
I saw it. Didn't
saw it. Okay, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But apparently,
but you didn't experience it.
Was it horrible? Did everyone hate it?
It was actually not intuitive. It was. I replayed it. I want to say last year when the collection came out, and I was like, man, this was groundbreaking at the time it came out, like 20 years ago.
It was cinematic. It may not have worked well, but it was cinematic.
Absolute cinema.
Yeah. And to be clear, I actually thought Metal Gear Solid was really profound. Like it felt like this game was from the future and also really sloppy and from the past at the same time. Like it was brilliant, but really frustrating. But I liked it. I thought it was cool, and I want to play more Kojima games because that's the only one I've played. But I forgot kind of what was the point of that? Oh, you were talking about is it okay to just put easy mode? Yeah,
easy mode. Yeah.
Easy mode. Don't finish it. Again, it's your time. Like people get on to me because I'm providing a form of entertainment. I'm showing you all the stuff I beat in the past year, but like you can do what you want, man. You paid your $60 or your $69.99 plus tax. Play it how you want. Use easy mode. Use the what's the thing in Elden Ring where you get a clone of yourself? The mimic tier. Use the mimic tier. Do what you gotta do.
Or Stoy, use your elemental weapons in Mega Man. Use those weapons. Use the gear system.
I always feel like games like that where it's like, hey, use the mechanic that this game is built around. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna try to play this game as vanilla as possible. I want to say I just did that with a game recently that I was like, I barely used. Oh yeah, we were talking about the Shinobi Art of Vengeance.
Yeah,
where I was like, I barely used any of the Nimpo. I barely used any of the special abilities. I just mastered the combo system to the nth degree, and I was like, I'm just gonna steamroll through this game, just relying on this one trick thing that I know. And of course, I did it just fine. Granted, there was probably frustrating parts that it's like, man, if I'd have just used the special ninja ability there, I could have probably beaten this. But whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another game that I started and didn't finish. One other, I don't know if there's really an answer to this other than just discipline, but I think the other problem I have is, even if I were to implement this successfully and consistently this year, like plot out the games that I know I want to play when they release for 2026 and map out that time. I think Pat mentioned this at the beginning of the podcast. I'm a late bloomer, so to speak. So like when these remakes come out, I now kind of filled up my backlog of franchises that I now have a goal I want to beat. Like I played Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Great. I have all these things to make up for. Resident Evil. I think the first one I ended up playing was RE4 Remake. And I'm like, all right, I need to go back and play RE2 Remake and all this stuff. And my backlog, a lot of it's consisted of I need to play catch up. So my calendars are, and we live in a day and age where great games come out monthly. So how am I going to catch up, even if I'm responsible going forward. I don't know if there's an answer to it though.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
I don't think there is.
Yeah, that's sort of a balance thing, you know. And I will say this, and I think that we all sort of experience this, but as time goes on, as the years go by, priorities change for me. Like there was a time where I really wanted to. I played Resi 4, the only Resident Evil game I've played, just to say it, like just to stick with the Resi example. I played Resi 4 Resi 4
both
remake.
are making me extremely sad.
Oh my god, I loved it. It was so great.
So good.
And I thought, man, I've got to go back and play some of the earlier ones, right? But as time went on, I was just like, but do I though? Like I kind of just changed, you know. Like so, not to say that's going to happen for you or not.
No. This is an interesting point because another podcast I'm on is a Resident Evil themed podcast. We talk about everything Resident Evil, and I want to say the two friends of mine that invited me on, guys that I've known for years. You know, obviously I'm the subject matter expert. I was there from the start when Resident Evil 1 came out for the PlayStation. That's what prompted me to buy the PlayStation. Period. Was that game. So I've been in the universe, stuck in the universe for pretty much ever since the beginning. I've played every mainline entry. I've even played some of the bad ones, even Resident Evil Gaiden for the Game Boy. I have kind of like weird relationships with them because, you know, for the most part, people hate 5 and 6 the worst out of the series. But I am actually fond of those games for whatever reason. So it's tough for me to like, obviously, you know, people are like, you know, I just never really liked 5. And I'm like, but you had to have been there, you know? But like, because that was video games like that are like capsules in time. That's why we have remakes, because they're kind of modernized for like modern audiences, as opposed to like, if you were to like re-release Resident Evil in its original tank control form, man, that would not go well.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I agree with that. I think there's a certain amount of the game is meant to be almost experienced in the time that it came out. You know what I mean?
And if you missed it, it's like, I mean, you could obviously still go back to it, you know, but you may struggle with it. Like one of my friends was, he played a lot of the original. He never played the original PlayStation ones. He played a lot of the remakes, 7 and 8. He never played any of the old ones. And he was just, man, tank controls. I'm like, that was what we had at the time. And it was the best of what we had at the time.
Yeah. Right now.
Go ahead. No, you're good.
Oh, I was just going to tag on with what Stoy said. Just recently, I started up Banjo-Tooie on the Nintendo Switch, or on the Nintendo Online N64 emulator. Yeah. And like, I'm just thinking to myself, how did we used to play N64 games? Because the camera was like one of the
to go back to.
Yeah, the camera's horrible, and every controller was inversed.
Yeah,
it's like, how?
That was the days with the inverted X axis, where it's like if you wanted to look right, you had to push the joystick left. Ugh.
If you wanted to look up, you had to look down.
Yeah.
At first, I thought this was just going to be an issue with the new generation of gamers, just because they didn't grow up with it, so they don't know and they're not going to like it. But I'm slowly starting to have to admit to myself that even for the generation of console that I grew up with and totally got used to, had no problem with back then, going back now, I've been spoiled with the modern sensibilities that it's been,
and not just gameplay too, but like also from a narrative standpoint, like the way certain characters are written. Like whenever I went and played Metal Gear Solid, like Snake is just this macho man womanizer. Like he's flirting with every woman. Like it's just not the hero that's written anymore. Like what really did it for me was whenever there was the helicopter crash and it explodes and he turns to the camera and he's like, well, that takes care of the cremation, and then he walks off. It's just like, it's just not the type of hero that's written anymore. You know what I mean?
No, but product of the times, late 90s action heroes of like, you know, Bruce Willis, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone action movies. So it's like
100%
time capsules in their time. You know, we don't see that kind of stuff that often.
Oh, dude, there's another one, not super action hero-y, but Okami. Now I'm not easily offended. Like I'm not PC police. Like not a lot offends me. It's fine. But like the little like bug guy in Okami who's constantly like trying to hit on all the girls, like it was so much It really did get to me, and normally but it was a lot, and I'm like, all right, got to keep in mind like when this came out, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why is there always a pervert character? Like even nowadays, like I just finished watching My Hero Academia, like the final season, which I love that show. Like people fell off of it or whatever, but like even in the first season of that, there's like the one perverted kid running around. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, why does every show have a Master Roshi? What is going on?
I was gonna say that Master Roshi, one of my coworkers,
Yeah.
said her husband was trying to get her to watch Dragon Ball Z, and all she talked about is this Master Roshi guy. He's like, he's such a creep. I was like, yeah, he's a creep. But
it was a stereotype back then.
Mm.
Before, now
yeah,
everyone
yeah,
could be a pervert, but back then you had to be a hidden pervert.
yeah, the pervy old man. So
Yep.
But yeah, I think you know, when we talk about the whole FOMO thing with the backlog and how, yeah, you know, Daryl, for example, like you're saying, like, man, there were so many Resident Evil games I missed out on. You know, should I go back and play a lot of these old games? I recently got into the habit, like this year. The only Ratchet and Clank games I ever played were like from PS3 on. Never played anything on the PlayStation 2. So that was one of my goals this year. It's like, oh, when I'm out there collecting, I want to collect the Ratchet and Clank PS2 games, and I want to actually try to play those. Daunting task, because I know not all of them are great. Some of them are better than others, but it's like, how far do I want to take this? Do I want to actually like finish I think there's 4 of them, or do I just want to maybe hit maybe 1 or 2 of them, see what it's about?
Yeah, I think I firmly believe this. Like, when I say this, I mean it very literally. I firmly believe that as a society, as a people, we owe it to ourselves to like actually out loud to ourselves say, I cannot play everything. I will never play everything. I will never read everything.
There's so
I will
many
never
good
watch
games
everything.
out there, Daryl.
And I think it's because of that like you have to decide when you consume something that you find is really special. Let's just say you're a big Persona fan, right? Like you finished Persona 5. My God, I love that. I fell in love with it. Like, or, you know, like you now owe it to yourself to maybe dig deeper. Let's go play Persona 4. Let's go play. Let's go.
Right
Yes,
there.
sir. I love that. Hell yeah.
Yep.
I played P4 shortly after I played P5. Oh my God, it was so good. It was almost better. I can't wait for them to remake that. I'm going to play 3 Reload this year. But the point just being, like, I think when you recognize that this is a series that really that you identify with, that means something to you, those are the ones you go back and play. For me, I really enjoyed Mass Effect, but Mass Effect didn't blow me away. Because of that, I'm probably not ever going to go back and play 2 or 3, and that's something that I just have to accept. You know, if they ever remake the games, well, I'm probably just going to maybe play the remake. You know what I mean?
Have you said you haven't played 2 or 3 yet, right?
Correct.
Okay.
I played the first one though.
Well, I don't know.
I'm
just gonna say two changes a lot of people.
I've heard 3 is very divisive because of the ending, but
yeah, for sure. And I was there before the extended cut.
Yeah,
I beat it before the extended cut.
But anyway. I think that as a people, we need to remember that, because if it was up to us, if time were no object, if we could live forever and do everything, we would do everything, you know? And I think it's understanding from, not to get too like philosophical, but like accept that you can't. And with that, like really cherish the stuff you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, I obviously, I think a lot of this video games are, it's bubblegum for the brain. They're meant to be enjoyed. They're meant to be,
right.
You know, they're meant to be relaxing. They're meant to be obviously stimulating enough that it kind of gets those synapses firing in your brain, but also, you know, something that it's like after like working on a long project, a long video, you know, work or whatever, like, you know, hey, I want to not necessarily turn the brain off, but I want to like enjoy something. I want to get in my own comfort zone. And it's like, you know, do you look like, man, I really should go back and beat, you know, Baldur's Gate 3. I really should finish that because I want to move on to that. Then it's like, then it becomes work.
Yeah, exactly.
Work.
Yeah.
And to the viewer that is watching that like just plays Marvel Rivals and that's kind of it. If you're happy, you've won. You know, like it's
honestly,
a hobby.
I'm jealous.
Yeah,
so much
like 100%.
I'm jealous of guys that just all they could do is just play Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6 is so much fun. The multiplayer is so much fun. It's the most fun I've had playing multiplayer in a game in a very long time. But man, there's so many other games I just want to play.
Yeah. No, I have that issue though, where I feel like I need to finish something. Like if I play, I need to finish it. Like this is something. Uh, it becomes work, and there are times where I feel like I just like, what am I doing with my life
Well, you're
after
the
I
platinum
played
trophy
something?
guy. You're the platinum
Well,
trophy guy.
yeah,
It's like you
I'm
got to finish
platinum.
everything.
God help you.
Mhm,
Yeah, right.
yeah,
And
and like Silk Song, for example, was a game that like my friends absolutely loved it. Taylor, that is her favorite game last year, and I struggled so hard with that game. Like I literally fought one boss for 3.5 hours before I
Yeah.
finally beat him. And by the end of it, I'm like, what the hell did I do? I feel like I wasted my time. I got super pissed off, super angry, and I just like I don't want to play anything anymore. Like it's hard for me
Yeah.
to just let go.
I'm gonna sell Stoy all my
Sometimes.
video games. I'm gonna step away from video games altogether.
You know what? I thought about that for like a half second.
Okay, you thought about that.
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
One day.
One day. Yeah, no.
yeah,
So
and it's also like if you're
yeah.
a video game fan, that's a heavier time commitment than being a film fan. If this movie sucks, well, you're not really up but another hour. May as well finish it. But if a game sucks, but if you're in that mentality, oh my god, you might be signing up for another 40 hours if you're not, careful.
Well, and
Mhm.
Pat, you've heard me complain about this before too. The games are too long now.
Uh-huh.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
hate to say it.
like
I agree.
honestly, I popped in yesterday. I was looking at my collection. I didn't mention this from the games we played. I popped in Darkwing Duck for the Nintendo. I don't know what made me pull that
Mhm.
off my shelf, but I beat that game in 40 minutes. I was like, huh, all the way through. Beat it in 40 minutes. I felt pretty good about myself. I was like, wow, I miss games that are that long. I mean, I would hate to spend $60 on a game that is 40
Well,
minutes
that's
long, but that's
yeah, that's what it is, really.
Rat Shaker took
Mhm.
me 3 hours to beat, and that was a $3 game. I felt that was $3 well spent.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Boy,
mean
Rat
there are
Shaker
some
was a game.
there are some of those games though where it's like, oh, it doesn't get good until you're like 30 hours in. Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yes, I was gonna say, dude, how many people have told me like stick with Xenoblade Chronicles X for like 30 hours, it'll get good then. I'm like,
It's like once you get the mech, the game is freaking awesome. It's like,
yeah,
when do
like,
I get the mech? Well, it's about 30 hours in.
Final Fantasy
It's like,
13
oh,
is like that,
that
Daryl. Once you get to
begins.
the
Yeah.
open world segment,
Just to quickly say that about FF13, I thought the whole game sucked. Like I thought that the narrow parts of the beginning were terrible. I thought
Yeah.
the open world parts were terrible. But for whatever reason, I like that game. I don't know
Mhm.
why I like it, but I really like it. It just there's something about the vibes, the characters, the people, the combat was. I don't know. I need to really just write my thoughts out about it because
you need
it's
to
a
journal.
bad game. I shouldn't like it.
Mhm.
You need to journal.
I need to
Well,
journal.
I think that's almost like a topic in and of itself. Is like, why do we go back to play or why do we continue with bad games? Like, what is it that kind of like keeps us coming back or keeps us hooked into like? It's like I know this is a bad game. One notable example is like for me, Dragon Age Veilguard was just dragged through the mud by everybody. And I know on paper it's not the greatest game, but man, it is. To me, I had so much fun with it.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
like I said, a lot of what people had complained about, I have those same complaints, but that still didn't stop me from having so much fun with it and having a great time with it. I hate saying
what
that out
matters.
loud, but yeah. So
Right.
It's like watching
Guys.
Whiplash. You're just like, wow, what a brilliant bit of acting. I hate that I enjoy this, but look
Yeah.
at him go.
yeah, right.
Like the
Not my
acting's good, but
tempo.
then you think those, that kid's gonna have issues for the rest of his life.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're coming up to the end here, and we need to make some goals for 2026. Whether it be tackling the backlog. Yes, Stoy.
I was gonna say there was I think one of the parts in your video that stuck in my head was I think you had mentioned Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice that you played. And it was like one of the last games that you played in that year. And you created this like kind of like parallel with her final battle and your backlog. And I remember just like watching that video and I was like, that stuck with me because I was like, if for those that don't know, her last battle is literally just almost like a boss rush mode where it's like wave after wave after wave after wave of enemies are just coming at you, and it's like you have no way of finishing this fight, but those enemies are just going to keep coming at you until all of a sudden you're dead on the ground. So that a backlog can be kind of seen in a similar way, where it's like game after game after game after game is still going to come at you, still going to beat you down, and it's like, how long are you going to be able to hold out before it's like you throw your hands up, you know?
Right.
And then you become the backlog.
Yeah, you are the backlog now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, thank you for saying that. That was it was a scripted loss in that game, and it was, I think it's a beautiful parallel, because what that does is it just changes your mentality. Like, it's not anything to be beat anymore. You don't beat the backlog. You just simply try to manage it and take advantage of it. And I think that when you have that shift, you start having a way more fun.
Yeah, and I think that's ultimately, when you think of the backlog, I think don't think of it as like, I have to finish this backlog, because that backlog will always be there. And like you said,
Bingo.
manage it. Find a way to manage it to the best of your abilities, or to how you want to do it.
The goal shouldn't be to beat the backlog, you know. Honestly, I don't see backlogs as a bad thing. I mentioned it in the beginning of the episode. Well, actually, I don't even know if I mentioned it in the episode or pre-talk. But, you know, backlog is just that ability to choose new adventures whenever you want to. Like, the more the better, in my opinion.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
You get options.
Yeah.
So, guys, what are our options for 2026? Like, how are we going to manage our backlogs? Like, do we have goals here? I guess I can kind of start off here. Last year, I made the goal that I wanted to beat 10 RPGs over the course of the year. And after looking through my spreadsheet, I only ended up beating 8 last year.
That's still pretty dang good.
Yeah, so I was going to say, RPGs, man, that's
yeah,
that's a month's worth of gaming.
I only killed 8 bears instead of 10 with my bare hands.
I know. But so I want to renew that effort in like doing 10 RPGs, but I almost want to say I want to also catch up from last year too. So maybe make it 12. But I guess that all depends on what 2026 brings. Right now, 2026 is looking a little on the lighter side compared to 2025. So I think it's doable. But one of the series I need to focus on is the Trails series, which I've loved. I've played 6 of them already, and I'm still, probably by the time this recording comes out, Trails into the Horizons will be out. So then I will technically be 4.5 Trails games behind.
What's the remake that just came out?
Trails into the Sky, or Trails in the Sky.
Is it in the sky? Yeah, I saw a video on it. One of the channels I follow. Sorry, Daryl, I do follow other YouTube channels. I'm sorry. But Happy Console Gamer, him and his wife glowed about this game, and I was like, is this the year that I try a Trails game? I don't know.
People tell me to try it. It's very good, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, if you ever wanted to try a Trails game, Trails in the Sky would be the one to try out, because it is the remake of the very first one. And they have said they are going to bring, like, we got Trails in the Sky 2 coming out later this year, and it's heavily hinted that they're going to bring the 3rd chapter out as well, probably within another year.
All right, putting it on my wish list.
Yep.
Here we go.
So I want to at least focus on 10 to 12 RPGs, whether they be new or backlog games. But I would like at least 40% of the games I actually complete to be things from my backlog.
I think that's a good goal.
I'm into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have one where I don't know what to call them. They're like kind of like legacy games, like games that I've like accumulated over the years that I'm just like, I should really beat that. I should get back to that. I should play that. Daryl, I think every video that you talk about Outer Wilds, I always skip those parts because I'm like, I really should play this game. And you're always like, spoilers if you haven't played Outer Wilds. I'm like, yep, okay, all right. So thank you for the timestamps, by the way, because that does help.
It'll change you. It'll change you. It's a wonderful
yeah,
game.
I know. And I'm like, I've heard that many times from many people. So that one, Near Automata, I've never played. I played like maybe like the first 2 hours of it. Like I have a copy of it.
I want to replay it so bad, dude.
Yeah.
So bad.
I think that was the theme of one of your videos of just like it's almost like you wish you could just like turn it off and
experience
like
it all over again for the first time.
See it again blind.
Yeah, it's the first time. So but Near Automata, and then I think Near Replicants. I think you mentioned that in one of your other videos in the past. So I added that to my legacy list, and then Final Fantasy VI. Pat, I know that probably upsets you.
Dude, that's a classic.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Even as a pixel remaster, that game's still fire.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm debating. Like, should I do because I have the pixel remaster edition of like 1 through 6. So it's like, should I go do that? I mean, I did buy the physical copy of 6 this year. So it's like, do I want to play it in its original intended format?
Are we talking Super Nintendo or PlayStation?
Super Nintendo.
Okay.
I have an actual physical copy of the Super Nintendo game. Well, Final Fantasy 3.
Yeah, I have that too.
Yeah.
I played it on an emulator.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I was fast forwarding and I was like, yeah, here we go.
Yeah, I know, because I hear the pixel remaster, like you can actually like add
quality of life improvements. Like you can like XP, level up,
double gold. Yeah. So I may do that just to kind of enhance my enjoyment of it by just like not necessarily speed running it, but making an efficient run.
I'd like to make a video about that whole thing, like quality of life, and just the title of the video be "Gamers Are Getting Older."
Yes,
I think people will click that.
And you have to hit on the rewind features. Rewind features are like a godsend to me now.
Oh God, yeah.
Save states. Save states.
So much.
Anywhere.
Yeah. You kids these days playing your Resident Evil games before having to collect ink ribbons. You know, like you guys can get out of here with that. You know, I can only play Resident Evil for save states. I mean, that's my boomer mentality. But
you got a good lineup for next year.
Yeah, for sure. And then, like I said, my whole retro games this month of like, hey, I really want to knock out a good portion of it this month and try to keep it as a trend going throughout the year. Like at the very least, go back to some classic game a couple games a month. You know, just keep it going. So. Those are my goals. Thank you.
Cool.
I feel like I have to play Outer Wilds soon.
You say me or stuff?
Oh no, all I said was Outer Wilds. I have to play.
Yeah, Stoy said Outer Wilds, and I asked if Steph wanted to take it next. We're saving.
Okay, I definitely thought
you're the best.
Okay, I was like, wait a minute. Okay, sorry, I misheard then. Mine's a bit more general, and I alluded to it earlier. I want to practice made up but very cliche term, mindful gaming. So I definitely don't think I can just quit that FOMO feeling altogether, but I think by using some of the tools, Daryl, that you mentioned, by, putting my pride down and writing on paper like an old person, just be more mindful of the game that I'm playing. Repeat to myself that just because I don't pre-order a game today doesn't mean that game's not going to be available next year or 2 years from now. And actually enjoy, because I eventually got to a point where I was trying to rush through games and I wasn't enjoying them like I used to. And it's okay if I can't, run through 50 games in a year or something. So just
100%.
mindful gaming, not to be cheesy, but it's just very general. I don't think there's a specific game I want to beat. Only a tiny handful of known 2026 games. And also like just as far as like, I was going to say merch and collector's editions. I'm going to stay away from that, but I'm also going to Kyoto. But I'm going to Kyoto next month, and I'm going to the Nintendo Museum, and I'm eyeing that massive human-sized Nintendo 64 controller. So maybe my resolution will be after my trip.
Sure.
Until
you get an invite to the limited run store again.
Honestly, if I was going to Japan, I also would completely throw away all other gaming goals. I'd be like, I'm going to Japan, dog. What does it matter? So yeah,
it's like we're bringing a couple empty suitcases with us.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Well, I think that controller you're gonna have to ship back, I would imagine.
Yeah, I told
Yeah.
my boyfriend Dave. I showed him a picture, and I'm all giggly and excited. I'm like, look at this. He goes, what am I looking at? I'm like, see that person next to that massive controller? He's like, what is it? It's like a pillow. He goes, don't you dare. I'm like, yes, I dare.
Mhm.
He's like, please no.
Not
Just
asking
get-
for
like-
permission.
You just got to get a second
like-
plane ticket and set it next to you.
Yes.
There you go.
All right, Daryl, tell us what are your goals for 2026?
Weird. That's the only goal, honestly. I'm at a point now in life where the quintessential games are like kind of gone. Like I've kind of got
Mhm.
everything in that regard that I want to get done. There's still a handful that I came out and like I still want to play Metaphor or Refantasio. I still want to play Persona 3.
Yeah,
I
I
still
still
want
have
to
to do
play
that.
Oh yeah, FF16, Hades 2. I'd like to touch at some point. So like I have a handful of those, but I don't have the big long list that I had before. Now I have all these odd games. Like one is in Stars in Time, Void Stranger, Nidana, Zero Escape, 999, Hella's
Oh,
Us. So
that's
like
good.
a lot of really weird, just sort of people aren't talking about it games. Lorelei and their Laser Eyes. Demon School is one that just came out that I've had my eye on for a while. So it's kind of honestly just taking down the most interesting stuff off of my Steam list and just actually playing them. And the exciting part for me, honestly, is that many of these are like single digit hour-long games. Which is very fresh and exciting because in previous years it's been like, here's a 20-hour game, here's a 30-hour game, here's a 40-hour game. So to have some that are just like 3, 5, 7, 5, 10, 1, it's like
It's very refreshing.
Honestly, it is.
Mhm.
It's refreshing that there's still games out there that are like bite-sized, not big sprawling open world RPGs.
And like, I feel like I've played very good turn-based combat games. I feel like I've played very good FromSoft, Dark Souls-y style games. I feel like I've played very good knowledge-based games, very good. So I feel like I've seen all the bells and whistles of all these different genres. Now what I'm looking for are games that just do something completely out of left field. Like one that I think of all the time is a game called Before Your Eyes. I don't know if anyone's played that.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, it's that
Yes,
VR game,
I've
right?
heard of it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it watches your eyes, and then whenever you involuntarily blink, it skips you ahead in time, and that's the whole gimmick. So, like, I'm looking for stuff like that, stuff that is just, I don't have a schema for what this is. That's kind of my goal, is to hunt for that. I don't know if anything on this list will be that, but I've heard good things.
Play horses.
That's my
Ooh.
horses.
No, do not play horses.
No, play horses.
Do not play
horses.
horses. Do not
Play
play
horses.
horses.
Play
Do not
horses.
play it.
Do I need a
Don't play
basket?
horses.
It's not. Where is it left on? Is it on itch still?
No, it's on. I think it's on itch. I got it off of Good Old
Oh.
Games.
Horses, the horror game. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. Horror is the right word. I mean, that's a nice, fun, bite-sized experience for $5.
Fun.
Yeah, that was.
Oh god.
Daryl, have you played Undertale?
I have, yeah.
You have? Okay. I was going to say that one's very unique, both in structure and gameplay.
Yeah, I got a video coming up that's going to refer to Undertale in a pretty major way, just because of the structure of it. But I thought Undertale was brilliant. I played chapters 1 and 2 of Deltarune. I really liked that. I
feel like I got to add that to my legacy list. I didn't realize I missed that.
Yeah, Toby Fox is. Everyone knows he's a great composer. His games are very interesting, but I think people forget like how good of a writer he is. And I think it's fun. I think there's a reason some of the characters are as deeply meaningful to people as they are. So I think he's great. Undertale is definitely one of those. I wish I could unplay it so I could replay it type games.
Toby Fox had a really good interview in a recent Game Informer magazine. I think they kind of like, it was a weird disjointed interview because it was like Toby Fox is kind of like he's a hard guy to nail down. So I think it was like an email conversation back and forth between one of the editors at Game Informer. And he had an interesting take on like video game development and how he likes to write. So it kind of matches up with what you're saying, Daryl.
I'm going to put in the chat because I don't want to continue on. But Karamara and the Forlorn Limbs, that's a very short, bite-sized Steam game that I really liked. It's not horror in a sense that you'll have nightmares, but it's like a very unsettling, creepy type game. Your main character can't talk, and you have to use cards that you discover and show them to various characters to kind of figure out what's going on in the house.
Oh, wow. Thank you for this. That's awesome. Yeah. This is exactly the type of stuff that I'm hunting down. This looks very cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow, this okay. All right. Yeah, I'm adding this to my list.
Yeah, I highly recommend. I really enjoyed it.
All right. Well, guys.
Sounds like we all got goals.
Yep.
We got some fun ones. I think 2026 is going to be a great year, regardless of whether or not like some awesome games come out. At least we know that we have plenty to play and keep ourselves entertained.
Plenty to play, and also just a side note, not necessarily backlog related, but this is a year of quite a lot of anniversaries. So especially for us older or aging gamers, there's a lot to celebrate. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and new challenges. I think Daryl coming up with like weird games or like kind of like short bite-sized challenging games. Me maybe finally getting into some old games I haven't played in a while, and Pat with the RPG goal. It's like we all have like different like new goals. Like, hey, like let's break away from the norm. Maybe try something new, try something different that you just haven't done before, or haven't done in recent years. So I think it's kind of it makes gaming, I guess, more interesting. I guess in that front.
You know what? What I was thinking would have been a fun backlog challenge for this year, and it only works if you have like a ton of games. But doing like an alphabet challenge with the backlog, like find a game with A, and the next game is B, and then the next game starts with C.
Reminds me, I have to try to beat Absalom. Absalom?
Yep.
That's another one on there that I've been wanting to play.
Yeah.
I like that. Me personally, I like that better than Hades 2.
Wow.
I think, and that's saying something. And I say that because I'm more of a fan of side-scrolling action beat 'em ups than I think the top-down style that Hades and Hades 2 is. That's just that's personal preference. I mean, practically the same game, same roguelite style, but it's from the guys that made Streets of Rage 4, I think, too, even. So they know how to do that. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for sticking with us this long. And, thank you for watching and listening to the Boss Rush podcast, as well as the Boss Rush Gamescast here, and all of our other content that we have on the Boss Rush Media and Boss Rush website. Stoy, Steph, thank you for joining me for tonight. Daryl, thank you so much for coming. Your insight was absolutely brilliant. There's a lot of good ideas. Like, I'd never thought about the whole journaling video games and having yourself to like having to express your thoughts and trying to process them, and that makes other games be enjoyable. To me, that didn't occur. Like, I didn't think of that, but it makes a lot of sense in my opinion.
Yeah. Now, when I started doing that, it just opened up all kinds of doors of like, oh, wow, I feel better. I can kind of move on now, So, highly recommend.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely something, especially after the conversation today, it's definitely something I'm going to do. I'm going to start doing literally tomorrow.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed talking. So,
no, we appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for all our listeners out there. Catch you next time.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Sana Deering, Francisco Santillan, and Christian S. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.